Today I want to raise something that's very difficult to talk about, but must be talked about. My own town of Duleek had the darkest of days in 2018 and 2019, when we suffered 5 young deaths by suicide. So this morning I'm highlighting my birth parish of Den in County Cavan, who've experienced 3 young deaths by suicide this past year, all neighbours. On Tuesday, I listened to Joe Finnegan of Northern Sound talking to the Heaslip family of Carrigaboy, Raymond, Maggie, Chloe and Finn. And I heard about a young man, their son and brother, Eden Heaslip, a bright, witty fellow with a great grow for music and cars. I heard about his Ger Canning Galway GAA jersey and his family farm and his willingness to stand up for others. I also heard about how he was kicked every day, kicked to the ground, how he was shouted at, go home to your own country, on account of his Protestant background. I heard about his head being physically held down, soiled toilets, of him being pinched at lunch tables and boxed, and how the threats from his abusers was so great that he would not even enter his own town. I heard how the abuse followed him online, how he could not put a single thing up on social media without vile, vicious comments being hurled at him, how his abusers would create new accounts to continue to harass him, even after he had blocked them. And I heard about how, after carrying a pain of the heart, a pain of his mind, that had left scars deep where no one could see, Eden came about to a way of thinking which said, this is it, I have to put up with it, this is the way it's going to be. And no one can live their life that way. And on the 20th of September, Eden Heaslip took his own life at the age of 18. No parent should have to bury their child. We have laws to protect employers from bullying in the workplace. Where are the laws to protect Eden? So I ask, Leader, can we hear the Heaslip's family today? Can we do our duty as legislators and put a stop to this senseless suffering? Can we please? I heard Father Jason, the parish priest, this morning talking on Northern Sound about this particular child. And like so many parish priests in the country, and I know my own priest, Father John, as well, they're instrumental in providing counselling for these young people. And God bless them in their work. But we really need to put wraparound services in local areas that are suffering like these, like my home parish of Den, like the places in Duleek, because then it's left to us community leaders to step in where the government has failed. So let's not fail the Heaslip family. Let's not fail all those families who have suffered death by suicide in this country, and there's too many.
I want to just thank Senator Keogan, apologies, Chair, for raising what absolutely is the most awful of tragedies, and I heard it on the radio in the last couple of days, and indeed I saw the beautiful photograph that the family released of young Eden with his birthday cake on his 18th birthday. To extend my deepest condolences to him, to his family and to his community on what is absolutely a tragedy. But what also is really a tragedy is that kind of bullying that young boy has been subjected to for the last number of years in his life is not uncommon and is probably happening in every single town and school in the country that we all live in. The problem is that nobody talks about it. People keep it quiet, and you try to deal with it in your family and you support the person in your family as best as you can. But we get to a scenario where our young people can't cope anymore because there isn't any other way for them to deal with the pain and the trauma that they're going through, but to take the choice and the route that young Eden took, which is an absolute tragedy. So what we need to start talking about is not just prevention of people who are in crisis and make sure that the services are there, that the intervention starts far sooner down the line than when somebody actually presents to Pieta or to Jigsaw because they're harming themselves or looking for ways out of the pain that they're in. The prevention needs to start far earlier for people who are subjected to bullying, to violence, to even intimidation on a social media platform, because it affects our children based on their resilience in entirely different ways. But we need to start really talking and educating the young people who are doing and the perpetrating of, the harassment, the violence, the bullying, because I really know from experience that they don't really realise the harm that they're actually doing until it's too late. And then they have to live with the harm. Pardon? Yeah, I think maybe it would be a good idea.
And, this involves children. This involves minors, unfortunately. And, there's no legislation there for minors on this. So maybe we could, as legislators in this House, we can look at that.
So maybe you're right, Gerard. What I will do then is after the recess see how we can have a debate in here as to how best we can formulate a policy or a programme in our schools and our houses and our homes to support families but to support children, to make sure that no more tragedies like Eden happens again. So thank you for raising it again.